At his memorial service 2 years ago, Pat Tillman was remembered as an inspiration to thousands of Americans. California's First Lady Maria Shriver was among those supporting the family, recalling how much Tillman gave up to fight for his country in Afghanistan.
Pat had it all: intelligence, movie star, good looks, a loving wife, athletic prowess, fame, a lucrative and promising career. Who among us could walk away from riches and a job we love?
But Pat Tillman did just that.
The lateral to Pat Tillman.
The former safety for the Arizona Cardinals gave up a multi-million-dollar pro football deal the day after September 11th to enlist as an elite Army Ranger. Tillman explained his decision in a rare interview just before he went into the Army.
My great-grandfather was at Pearl Harbor, and a lot of my family has given up, has gone and fought in wars, and I really haven't done a damn thing as far as laying myself on the line like that, and so I have a great deal of respect for those that have.
But Tillman's devotion to duty, honor, country would end with his death in a desolate section of Afghanistan. It would be 26 days after the memorial service, more than a month after his death, before the Army would publicly acknowledge what the Rangers who were with him in combat knew almost right away. Tillman's death was from friendly fire. He was hit in the head by 3 bullets fired by American soldiers who say they mistook him for the enemy.
Much, but not all of the story of what went wrong that April day in 2004 can be found in thousands of Army documents obtained by CNN.
Many details from the Army documents are being televised here for the first time, and while the heavily blacked out documents provide some answers, they also raise substantial questions that 3 separate Army investigations have failed to resolve. Tillman's platoon was on a mission in eastern Afghanistan along the Pakistan border. His platoon was trying to flush out enemy Taliban or Al-Qaeda fighters. CNN took these Army topographic maps of the location where Pat Tillman was killed and independently created the first detailed television animation of what happened to Tillman and the Army Rangers that day. The platoon's problems began with a broken-down Humvee, which had to be towed by a local truck and was slowing the platoon. The platoon was split into 2 groups, on orders of a commander at a base far away, according to Army documents. The split was ordered over the objections of the platoon leader. There was a concern back at the base that the broken Humvee was causing unacceptable delays to the mission. CNN military analyst retired Brigadier General David Grange has commanded Rangers himself and also lost a soldier to friendly fire.
Here you had the senior guy on the ground saying, I don't want to split my force. Someone that's not there on the ground, but in a radio and a tactical operations center saying, split it. Do you take the word of the guy on the ground or not? Usually the guy on the ground knows what's going on.
Corporal Tillman was with the first group that pressed on, moving safely through a deep canyon and arriving at a small village. The second group, with the Humvee in tow, included Tillman's younger brother Kevin, who also enlisted with Pat after September 11th. That second convoy, led by the truck towing the broken Humvee, followed a different route, but found the terrain too rugged. So they backtracked and followed the first group deep into the narrow canyon. Though they were just a half hour back, the first group was unaware the second group was coming up behind them. In the canyon, the second group was ambushed from above by enemy fighters.
There was confusion in the force. People were scared. Very restricted terrain. Sun's going down, a lot of shadows. So the light is not dark enough to use night vision goggles, but it's in between.
To add to the confusion, in the deep canyon, the 2 groups lost radio contact. But Pat Tillman's group heard the gunfire back in the canyon and turned back to help. Tillman, as described in his Silver Star citation, showed great courage under fire in leading a small rifle team, including an Afghan soldier, to the top of the ridge to engage the enemy. Down below, a Humvee armed with a .50 caliber machine gun and 4 soldiers with other weapons pulled out from behind the truck and broken Humvee. As they emerged from the canyon, the soldiers in the vehicle were firing with an abandon that one Army investigator would later say demonstrated gross negligence. The soldiers would later say they thought the enemy was all around them. As they fired in all directions, they began hitting U.S. troops. Down in the village, the platoon leader was hit in the face, and another soldier shot in the leg. From Tillman's position up on the ridge came anguished cries of alarm. First, the friendly Afghan soldier was shot and killed by the soldiers in the Ranger vehicle. The soldier standing alongside Tillman described what he witnessed in a sworn statement.
A vehicle with a .50 cal rolled into our sight and started to unload on top of us. Tillman and I were yelling, "Stop! Stop! Friendlies! Friendlies! Cease fire!" But they couldn't hear us.
According to another sworn statement obtained by CNN, the driver of the Humvee was initially confused when he saw the Afghan soldier with Tillman on the ridge, then realized others in his Humvee were firing on fellow Rangers.
I yelled twice, "We have friendlies on top." The crew must have not heard me because my vehicle opened fire on them. I screamed no, and then yelled repeatedly several times to cease fire. No one heard me.
Tillman threw a smoke grenade to signal they were Rangers, and for a few moments it appeared to work.
We thought the battle was over, so we were relieved, getting up, stretching out, and talking with one another. When I heard some rounds coming from the vehicle, they started firing again. That's when I hit the deck and started praying.
The soldier hit the deck when the vehicle fired on them again. That's when the soldier says Tillman was hit.
I know this because I could hear the pain in his voice as he called out, "Cease fire, friendlies. I am Pat Tillman, damn it." He said this over and over again until he stopped.
Moments later, a sound caught the attention of the soldier next to Tillman.
I heard what sounded like water pouring down. I then looked over to see a river of blood coming down from where he was. I had blood all over my shoulder from him, and when I looked at him, I saw his head was gone.